Unova went straight for the jugulars we played through Pokemon Black and White, culminating in some of the worst legs in the challenge so far. Thankfully, we've got 2 more chances to do Gen 5 justice as we start Pokemon Black 2. Our first sequel since Gold and Silver, this is my personal pick for #1 best games in the series. It gets everything right. The story is a really good follow-up to prior events, but can stand on its own 2 feet. Pokemon availability has exploded, featuring more than just the new additions. And best of all, the quality of optional content hits a new high with the Pokemon World Tournament. Familiar faces from every game leading up to this point can be seen and battled in the gorgeous stylings of the generation, providing endless enjoyment. It'll be nice to run through my faves again. In the 2 years following the conflict with Team Plasma, Bianca's dedicated herself to becoming Juniper's assistant, and she's the one that gives us our starter. As our only option, Amidamaru the Oshawott joins our team. Our friend Hugh has a personal goal that requires he gets stronger, so he wastes no time in challenging us to a battle. Amidamaru is able to defeat his Snivy without issue for the win. Bianca then runs us through the basics, and we kick things off with a level cap of 13. We quickly make our first new addition to the team by catching Lenora the Patrat on Route 19. As we move on, we run into Alder. He invites us over to his house, waiting for us to deliver a town map to our buddy. The team grows as we head through Route 20, catching Neville the Sawaddle and powering him up before heading to the Flockacy Ranch. The ranch provides us our next encounter, Anya the Lillipup, before we get another battle with Hugh going. Neville absolutely obliterates Snivy with Bug Bite for the win, and our impressive showing is immediately followed by Trouble. The owner of the ranch lets us know that one of his herdiers has gone missing, and this really pisses Hugh off. There's definitely a story there. After a brief search, we find out exactly what happened to the herdier. Some shady individual has the pup cornered, immediately outing himself as a member of Team Plasma before fleeing. His clothes are different though. Still, the crisis has been averted as we reunite the owner with his Pokemon, leaving us free to move on. Impressed at how much we've grown in such a short time, Alder tasks us with beating up some kids and their monkeys. 2 years later, and he still likes seeing kids get wrecked. Satisfied with our performance, it's time to take on our first gym. Located in Aspertia City, this is the first and only time a Pokemon gym is found in a player's hometown, and the Aspertia gym's leader is good old Charon. Thankfully, he won't use the team he adventured with 2 years ago. We start by dusting the gym trainers, then grind up to the cap to challenge Charon. Lenora leads in a mirror match, doing big damage with Tackle to eventually take Patrat out. Up next, Tackle is a 2-hit KO on Lillipup. 50 base power stab Tackle is nuts. The level cap increases to 18 with the acquisition of Badge 1, and our next destination is Verbank City. We're briefly introduced to Verbank's gym leader, Roxy, as she yells at her dad for abandoning his post to pursue his dreams. This is way too real for a Pokemon game. Moving on, we head into the Verbank complex and catch Wildfire the Magpie. A future Magmortar will be a serious powerhouse for the team. Taking on the trainers and Pokemon here powers Amidamaru up, evolving into Duat, and Anya into Herdier. Once everyone reaches the cap, we enter the Verbank gym to challenge Roxy. It's pretty crazy that this is still one of the only examples of voice acting in the entire series. The song slaps too. Anya leads against Koffing and uses Work Up a bunch before landing return for the Yoko. Roxy's Ace Whirlipede goes down to return next for another easy win. The level cap increases to 24 following this W, and we have a mandatory diversion to Pokestar Studios ahead of us. I'm completely glossing over it, but I actually liked making movies here. Before we can move on, Team Plasma rears their heads in Burbank. He was spurred into action by a personal grudge, so we help our buddy out. After beating a grunt in the city, we give chase to Route 20 and defeat another grunt before they run off. We soon find ourselves in familiar territory, Castelia City. A big-ass sailing vessel in this day and age? You just know that's going to be relevant later. The team continues their growth as we explore the large city, but our chance to challenge Berg hasn't quite arrived yet. He's left the gym to deal with some trouble, and Iris knows exactly where trouble might be. A new addition to the city in these games, the Castelia sewers are filled with Pokemon and trainers alike. Hugh and I team up to look for Team Plasma, finding them almost immediately. Anya and Servine make short work of the two grunts and Berg arrives as they leave. Just as he assures us that there are no more Team Plasma members to be worried about, a mysterious new character approaches and compliments us on our skills. I'm sure we'll meet again later. For now, we head into the Relic Passage and catch Pebbles the Roggenrola. The team's growth continues as we explore the sewers, the passage, and battle the Castelia gym trainers. Neville evolves into Swadloon, Lenora evolves into Watchog, we catch Hugs the Grimer, and Neville evolves again into Livani, priming our team for our battle with Bird. I lead with Amidamaru by mistake, and quickly switch into Neville as Swadloon uses String Shot. Bug Bite eventually KOs as our speed is lowered, so I pivot back into Amidamaru to defeat Dwebble. Wildfire makes his debut against Livani, and Flame Burst is an OHKO to end the battle. Our level cap increases to 30 just in time for our run-in with that strange character from before. Colress, a scientist, tells us that he's researching how to bring out the power of Pokémon. He's taken such a keen interest in us as we're doing exactly what he wants to understand. Following him to Route 4, he clears a blockade of Crustle and then challenges us to a battle. Wildfire starts by taking Magnemite out, suffering because of paralysis. Clink gets burned as it uses Gear Grind, and Amidamaru takes Wildfire's place, ending the battle. Moving on, we coincidentally find ourselves exploring Route 4 on Thursday. Because of this, we're able to find and catch Velma the Mandibuzz, a Pokemon that would ordinarily be relegated to the late game. This is the perfect final addition to the roster, although maybe not ahead of a battle with an Electric-type specialist. Oh well. The gang's growth is steady as we explore and eventually enter Nimbasa City, but we still have quite a ways to go before hitting the cap. In an effort to bring more attention to the battle subway, our grind starts with a battle against Ingo and Emmett. We battle the gym trainers and anyone else we can find, and Wildfire finally evolves into Magmar. Pebbles also evolves into Boldore, and I of course immediately trade him, triggering his evolution into the mighty Gigalith. Once the team is ready, we challenge Elisa. Damn, she completely changed her look in these 2 years. Pebbles starts off strong, dealing massive damage to Flaffy and tanking Volt Switch to KO Emolga. Neville takes over and resists Volt Switch and blocks Zebstrika's Flame Charge before Wildfire comes out. Flame Burst does big damage, and Zebstrika Volt Switches into Flaffy. Flaffy's taken out by the Flame Burst, and Zebstrika immediately follows suit for the win. The level cap increases to 33 as we strut our stuff on the catwalk, bound for Driftvale City next. Hugh and I confront Team Plasma before we move on, taking the 4 grunts out together. Hugh's animosity towards them is finally made clear as he reveals that Team Plasma stole a Purloin from his sister 5 years ago. It's why he needs to get stronger, and why we need to get stronger too. He'd be doomed without us as backup. Charles the Heartbreaker challenges us to a rotation battle before we can cross the drawbridge, highlighting the fun modes added this gen. Pebbles smokes his Sigilif, Tirtuga, and Archon with virtually no resistance, and we move on. As we approach Driftvale, we see Team Plasma, both old and new. The grunt in the uniform we recognize has seemingly mended his ways, frustrating the newer one. We follow the reformed grunt into the city to speak to one of the former sages, Rude. He challenges us to a battle that we easily win, and then shares details about Team Plasma with Hugh and I, as well as his remorse for being a bad guy. It's okay, dude. We all make mistakes. Just ask all the Pokemon I've lost throughout this challenge. We get back to our training and eventually ready up to battle Clay. Neville leads in battle and misses out on a Krokorok OHKO thanks to Intimidate, but works through a Hyper Potion to finish it off anyway. I switch to Amidamaru when Excadrill is sent out and use a Torrent-boosted Razor Shell to OHKO. Neville returns to contend with Sandslash, getting the KO and the win with 2 Razor Leafs and raising the level cap to 39. After Hugh's outburst at Clay for allowing Team Plasma to live in Driftvale, we head to the Pokemon World Tournament. The Driftvale Tournament is our crash course on the facility, and we defeat Hugh, Charon, and Colress with ease before moving on. That big-ass sailing vessel from before came into play even sooner than one would expect, moored right outside Driftvale. Hugh, Charon, and I get into a battle with a small army of grunts on board, knocking them all aside before Zinzalin shows up. Looks like not all of the sages mended their evil ways. The Shadow Triad removes us from the ship before things escalate any further, and without any leads, we continue on our journey. Charon tips us off to some strange happenings in the region. The temperature in Castelia, Driftvale, and the distant Lacunosa town dropped as low as -58 degrees. How odd. We can't confirm it for Lacunosa yet, but Team Plasma's ship was docked in the other two locations. They're up to something. Something cold. Again, there isn't much we can do about it at this time, so we move on. Oh hey Cobalion. Chargestone Cave is an uneventful trek outside of Amidamaru evolving into Samurott, and we reach Mistralton City without issue. After a small introduction to Professor Juniper, the gang takes on the Mistralton gym trainers and moves on to the Celestial Tower to train. Pebble gets our battle with Skyla started, ignoring Swoobat's attack to set up Stealth Rock and KO with Rock Blast. Feelings are for the weak. Wildfire takes point to KO Skarmory with Lava Plume, leaving her ace Swanna. Velma chips away at it for a bit and debuffs with Snarl before it's ultimately defeated by Pebbles. The level cap increases to 48 as we receive badge number 6 and join Professor Juniper and Bianca on a flight to Lentemes Town. There isn't much for us to do here besides exploring Reversal Mountain, so that's exactly what we do. The team powers up nicely as we work through the mountain with Bianca and reach Undella Town on the other side. It's been a while since we faced off, so Hugh challenges us to a battle. Amidamaru wrecks on Pheasant with Surf and Aqua Jet, and Wildfire torches Superior with Lava Plume. Simisear is then no-code by Amidamaru's Surf, showing Hugh our strengths. Before long, we find ourselves in the aforementioned Lacunosa town. The Professor, Bianca, and I learn of a Pokémon that brought a frigid wind with it when it would attack humans and Pokémon in the night. Interesting stuff, but meaningless to us right now. Hugh and I then get into another struggle with Team Plasma, battling Zinzalin and a Grunt. Looks like Zinzalin's taken a shine to Ice types after his time in the cold storage. I guess he never got the memo that they suck. Like clockwork, the duo flee after they're defeated, but they let it slip that they're heading to Opelucid City. Coincidentally, so are we. Not much happens on our way there, except that we break this dummy's 2-year-long win streak on the village bridge. He'll never forget about the power of protagonism again. Oh hey Verizian. Iris greets us as we reach the city, and suggests we train before challenging Drayden. Way ahead of you, Iris. To start, Wildfire uses Will-O-Wisp to burn Druddigon. Pebbles then sets up Stealth Rock and Lenora takes point. Lenora uses Work Up twice, and then uses Baton Pass as Druddigon is healed, passing his boosts to Amidamaru. Blizzard then misses twice before finally connecting to take Druddigon out. Flygon isn't as fortunate and eats the next Blizzard, and Haxorus does the same, ending the battle. As the level cap increases to 51, Drayden tells us the story of the 2 legendary dragons. With only the DNA splicers as proof, he tells us that there may be a 3rd dragon, Kurem. Just as his story concludes, something rocks the building. Team Plasma's big-ass sailing vessel can fly, apparently, and they let loose an icy blast, freezing the city. They're here for the very same DNA splicers we just learned about. They clearly know something that even Drayden doesn't. If he wasn't always so easy to overcome, I'd think Zinzalin is the leader with how often he shows up. Having cleared Team Plasma out, Drayden heads into the gym and returns with the DNA splicers in tow. Unfortunately for Drayden, ninjas. We give chase, desperate to get the splicers back, and battle the ninja. Despite the easy win, their stall tactic worked. All we can do now is collect the last badge. The marine tube from Undella Town is our gorgeous shortcut to Humalau City. We quickly get our training done and challenge Marlin, the newly added 8th gym leader. Lenora halves Caracosta with Super Fang, then uses Baton Pass into Neville. Neville's Leaf Blade finishes Caracosta off, and then crit Oko's Wailord afterwards. Leaf Blade tears into Jellicent last, and the level cap increases to 58 with all 8 badges in our possession. Oh hey Terrakion. There's nothing left to do but confront Team Plasma now. After some exploration, and with the help of the Colress machine, we find their frigate. Marlin does us a solid despite not caring to help with Team Plasma, and provides us access to the ship. Our decimation of the grunts littered throughout begins. Most importantly, we find a Magmarizer tucked away in one of the rooms below deck. As soon as we can, this thing is getting used. Until then, we work our way into the command center, confronting Zinzalin again. The 3rd dragon is real, and Team Plasma is using it to power their ship. That explains the wild temperature drops from before. Hugh arrives just in time to double battle Zinzalin and a Grunt. Wildfire and Superior combine forces and wreck the opposition, but before we can find out where Purloin is, the Shadow Triad forcefully eject us from the ship, heading to the giant chasm. Wildfire, it's time. Everyone's at full power just in time for the climax. Working our way into the chasm ourselves, our progress is halted by a barricade of grunts. We take one out with ease, but reinforcements quickly arrive. En's faithful take up arms and allow us to pass freely, back to the frigate. More grunts are defeated as we navigate the ship and open the way to the captured Kyurem. Zinzalin does not give up easily, however, and gets in our way again. Neville defeats his Cryogonal, and Pebbles blasts Weavile for the win, allowing us to progress. It's none other than Colress that we see standing before us. To him, it doesn't matter how it's accomplished, as long as he can conduct his research. Acting as Team Plasma's leader, we have to challenge him to battle. Pebbles sets up Stealth Rock and nearly dies in exchange. Lenora takes over and fails to make any meaningful progress thanks to paralysis. As I pivot into Neville, Colress sends his Magnezone out. We do big damage with a crit Leaf Blade, but Thunderwave paralyzes Neville too. Wildfire is sent out and tanks Magnezone's explosion. Works for me! Matang and Klinklang are melted by Flamethrower, and Behem is sent out next. Amidamaru drops dangerously low as he trades with and takes Behem out, leaving just Magneton to be defeated with Dig. That was tough, but it's not over yet. Team Plasma's original mastermind is still active, and has an even more insane plan this time around. He wants to freeze the entire region using Kyurem's power. Hugh catches up to us and confronts a member of the Triad who actually has the stolen Purloin. In the 5 years since, however, it's evolved into Liepard and only obeys its kidnapper. That's pretty evil, man. We can't let that stand. Amidamaru defeats the first of the Triad, Pebbles defeats the second, and the third is beaten by Velma and Wildfire. As a consolation, they let Hugh take back the stolen Pokémon. Hopefully he can be rehabilitated. We follow Ghetsis deeper into the chasm, aiming to put a stop to his plans. In response, the Maniac attempts to murder us! That escalated quickly. N shows up in the nick of time with Zekrom, saving us, but falling for Ghetsis' ploy. The DNA splicers activate, and Zekrom is reverted into the Darkstone, absorbed by Kyurem. The newly fused Kyurem Black stands in our way, but is no match for the mighty Pebbles. Unable to bear the thought of failing again, Ghetsis challenges us to a battle. Pebbles sets up Stealth Rock as Cofagrigus uses Protect. Outplayed. Velma starts to use Snarl as Cofagrigus Toxic stalls us. Knowing it can't hit Lenore very hard, I pivot and start setting up, eventually passing a ton of boosts to Neville. Shadowclaw KOs right after. Electros goes down to Leaf Blade, as does Seismitoad. Drapion falls to X-Scissor, and Toxicroak is taken out by Shadowclaw. X-Scissor then connects one last time on Ghetsis' Hydreigon, thwarting Team Plasma once again. N is unable to get through to the crash-out that is Ghetsis, and leaves with Zekrom after asking the iconic question. What are you and your Pokémon striving for? The Pokémon League, that's what. After climbing through Victory Road, Q challenges us one last time. Pebbles misses the mark on Unpheasant as it U-turns into Bouffalant. We set up Stealth Rock and tank Earthquake, sending Velma out next. Velma cannot compete with Bouffalant, so I double switch into Pebbles and then Neville. I don't know how he knew I would, but instead of Earthquake, he nearly takes Neville down with Mega Horn. Thankfully, Wildfire is able to take Bouffalant out. What a problematic Pokémon. Amidamaru uses Surf to defeat Simisear, and Wildfire returns to cook Serperior with Flamethrower. Stealth Rock then finishes on Pheasant off for the win. The way is open to the League at last, so we get a ton of training in. More importantly, I hunt for a ton of different colored shards to hand in for some sweet new moves, prepping the team to finish strong. Because for the first time this generation, we're approaching the finish line deathless. I sincerely hope to keep it that way as we enter the Pokémon League. For all the changes the region went through in 2 years, the Elite Four remains exactly the same. We start our gauntlet with Chantal. Pebble sets up rocks and does minor damage to Cofagrigus before I pivot to Lenora. You already know what time it is. Neville receives a bunch of boosts and uses Shadowclaw to KO Cofagrigus. Shadowclaw KOs Chandelure and Drifblim next, and Leaf Blade finishes Golurk off. Up next is Grimsley. Pebbles is able to set up rocks and defeat the lead Liepard with Stone Edge, and Crocodile is sent out. It outspeeds Amidamaru, who manages to tank 2 Earthquakes and KO with Surf. I send Wildfire out to try and burn Scrafty next, but get unlucky. I double into Pebbles and then Velma, hoping to trade. Toxic is applied, which starts the timer, and Roost keeps Velma healthy enough to live a Brick Break with 1 HP. Holy shit, that was scary. I didn't think he'd read the Roost and switch moves. Flag connects to take Scrafty down, leaving just Bisharp. Lenora starts to work up, but a crit Night Slash takes her out, ruining the Deathless Dream! Wildfire gets revenge with Flamethrower to end the battle. I'm salty, but I started to over-rely on Baton Pass, so I guess it's fair. Next on the list is Caitlyn. Neville leads, using Swords Dance twice before falling asleep to Yan. I prepared for that and immediately wake up with our Chesto Berry. X-Scissor then deletes Musharna. Neville outspeeds Sigilif and Okos with Shadow Claw, then uses X-Scissor to take Reuniclus and Gothitelle down. What a beast. Last but not least is Marshall. It seems insane, but I lead with Pebbles to set up Stealth Rock. I use Iron Head once before switching to Amidamaru. Boosted by a Water Gem, Surf still fails to KO Throw, and the thing is healed. Eventually, Amidamaru is able to knock it out, and Mienshao is up next. It starts to use Bounce as I switch to Neville, so I send Velma in to tank the attack. Mienshao pivots with U-turn, sending Conkeldurr out as Velma uses Fly. This won't be a 2-hit KO, and I don't want to lose anyone else, so I send Wildfire out. He's able to tank Hammer Arm and get the KO with Flamethrower. Flamethrower is then enough to take Sok and Mienshao down afterwards for the win. That's a relief. Only one more win left. Promoted from Gym Leader to Champion, she dressed for the part. Love her look. Iris leads with an absolute monster in Hydreigon, and I lead with Old Faithful. Surf hits like a truck, but we set up the crucial Stealth Rock in exchange. Velma tanks Dragon Pulse in exchange for Toxic, then starts to stall with Roost. The 2-turn setup and use of Fly in conjunction with Poison Chip fells the dragon. Lapras is sent out next. Velma repeats the play, using Toxic, Roost, and Fly to take Lapras down. I stay in to sack Velma as Druddigan is sent out, but she manages to land Toxic before going down. Amidamaru then takes her place and uses Blizzard and Surf to take Druddigan out. Surf deletes Aggron, and Haxorus is sent out next. Iris gets greedy and uses Dragon Dance, leaving Amidamaru free to KO with Blizzard. Amidamaru then tanks Archeops' Rock Slide and KOs with Surf, finishing this leg off with 2 deaths. I guess Deathless was far too ambitious a goal following 8 and 7 deaths in Black and White, but this is still an incredible improvement. It goes without saying, but I really enjoyed using everyone on this team, even Lenora. Baton Pass is a hell of a drug. Everyone on the team was able to put in serious work throughout the game, which is more than I can ask for in a leg as tough as this. The Oshawott, Patrat, Sewaddle, Magby, Roggenrola, and Vullaby lines all joined the ban list ahead of our final bout with Unova. Next time.